My father, Howard Bear, passed away at 2:25 a.m., January 1st of 2007. And I still feel his presence, and his humor and his love. And he was always my unfailing supporter throughout my life, especially in times of doubt and crisis. He would help me through that. But one of my fondest memories of him is when I had my son, who was 4 at the time, and I was visiting them, and my son woke up very early in the morning. My father was already up. It's a beautiful day like today, eating breakfast on the patio. So he said, leave Todd with me, I'll give him breakfast. And he said, you go back to bed. So about 45 minutes later, my son pops up on my bed, telling me about his breakfast with Grandpa. So I go downstairs soon after that and said to my father, I said, Todd told me a big whopper this morning. He said, he did? I said, yeah. He said he had orange push-ups and cheese crisp for breakfast. And he looked at my son and he said, you told. I love that about my dad, and I told that story at his eulogy. And I still miss him, but I feel his presence.
On the sand, and said I had 20 minutes to talk about my dad. Wrong email. 3 quick things. I was blessed with 2 fathers, my birth father and then a stepfather. And I was really surprised later in life, my natural father died when I was 4, so I didn't know him on a personal level that I recall, but I've had people tell me that I have traits and characteristics of him. So I know he influenced me in ways we don't understand. And my stepfather, who I came into my family when I was 13, had a phrase, "It takes a long time to make a man," and the song I'm going to sing shortly kind of reflects that a little bit. But I happened to have our eldest daughter was at our breakfast table this morning, and so I had an opportunity to say, share something, a good father memory. So the very first thing she comes up, so, well, in middle school, Dad, you came to pick me up at a dance in your fleece sweatpants. But then she followed it up quickly with something I had created as I learned how to become a father, was I called the 16-year-old adventure, and I took each child on a week-long father-child adventure, and she and I hiked the Grand Canyon together, and we had some fond memories of that. And then the last point on fatherhood is there's a mentor role in which we as fathers seek mentors and we become mentors. And when Cindy's daughter, my stepdaughter, decided to get married right after we did, and we were kind of freaking out, not knowing how to address that part of our journey, I spoke with a friend and he said, be careful how you handle this. It's a complex decision that you may not have figured out your first time around either, and you may gain a son and lose a daughter, so be careful. And then just last week, one of our newer employees who's been with us about a year, who is not quite as far along on his journey, called me up and said, you know, my daughter's wanted a nose ring, and I told her if she got straight A's this year, and they just moved to a new community, new school, that she could get her nose ring. And he said, she got straight A's, I need some help, Dad. And I had our eldest daughter who was at our house this morning, you know, had similar things, and also a straight A student who wanted things, you know. And so I talked to him, and he texted me over the weekend, and he said, I owe you no nose ring, but a concert instead. So I helped him think through options. So those are the things about fatherhood that are rewarding, challenging, and interesting. So here's a song I wrote for my dad in his final year and was able to play for him in person the day he made his transition. Father, take a look at me now. I've grown up much like you. Oh, Father, take a look at me now. Are you glad with what you grew? Well, I watched you at the table, in the basement and the yard. The lessons that you gave me carried me this far. Father, take a look at me now. I've got some sons of my own. Oh, Father, take a look at me now. Are you proud with what I've grown? Well, they watched me at the table, in the basement and the yard. The lessons that I gave them carried them this far. Sometimes difficult to see, have all combined together to make a man out of me. take a look at me now. From you I've learned how to give. Oh, Father, take a look at me now. From you I've learned how to live. 'Cause I've watched you with my mother, my sisters and brothers too. The love you give so freely is something we must learn to do. Oh, Father, take a look at me now. My love for you is so strong. Oh, Father, take a look at me now.